Retro Rock plays everything.
Hey folks, today I'm going to show you a device that is getting cutsies in my review line because I am so excited to see it. This is the unfortunately named PAP K3 Plus. Look at those creepy kids. Alright, what's so special about it? Well, it's not a Famicom. And also it runs a different interface from many of the Vita and PSP clones out there. By what I hear, it can run NeoGeo games quite well. And that's what interests me. Yes, I've got a NeoGeo arcade board, a consoleized one laying around, but I can't carry that with me everywhere, even though I kind of want to. So this would be great to play it. Yeah, I know, you're going to point out that I have like a million other devices I can play it, but still, this sucker's less than 40 bucks. Delivered. And that makes it pretty interesting. Alright, front of the box, hooked up to a giant screen. A little worried about that considering it only has RCA jacks. Console, AV cable, USB cable, and user manual are included. I'm trying to remember what color I got. I think I got white. I think it actually is the color on the box. Here is the back. 64-bit OS. Supports arcade game, Gameboy, SFC, Super Famicom, SNES, Sega, Famicom, I can't even say Famicom anymore. Famicom, NES game series, ultra large capacity support TF card, HD DV camera, digital recording. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do test. HD video, it's VIEDO. Music playing. Picture browser, ebook, yeah, whatever. Supports 26 kinds of languages. Awesome. Comes in black, white, and blue. I was trying for the blue because I started getting bored with black and white. But oh well. Here we go. Let's open the box. Okay, so here we go. Tab in the front. Okay, for charging it takes a mini, not micro, USB. Looks about 3 feet long. Build quality is moderate. Cancer level, medium. Now that's interesting. That is stereo out, which you don't see very often on these. 3.5mm jack as opposed to the 2.5 I've been seeing recently. So it's kicking it old school with this. Looks like it's about, what, 5 feet? And, oh, wait, we got a manual. The PAP K3 Plus. 4.3 inch, 16 by 9 TFT screen. Hope it looks nice. And it's got a manual that is very similar to what I've been seeing on the PSP clones, which kind of worries me. Alright. Let's bust her out. It is excitingly heavy, probably because the battery's in it. It feels about the weight, maybe a Vita. It is heavy though. Not bad looking. Very glossy. Initial feeling on the build quality is really not bad. This looks so similar to some of the other ones, but the plastics are much thicker, and you can definitely tell it. There's a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, let's look real close. I'm getting fingerprints all over it. There's a little bit of a metal fleck in it. Now, I don't think I ordered the black one, but I got a black one, so sadness right there. It's got the split D-pad that drives me nuts. Sorry about that noise in the background. It'll go away in a second. It's springtime in Wisconsin. Looking across the top, got a reset button there, power button. We got the USB cable, mic, TV out, marked. This is all marked. TF card. We got two very clicky shoulder buttons. The analog stick feels pretty good on this. It's free. It's not like the fake Vita where it felt like it was bumping into stuff, or the fake PSP I think had the worst worst one where it felt really restricted. This D-pad, as far as I can just tell right now, it's nothing to write home about. These buttons I'm sure are fully functional. The array is a lot like the fake PSP. Volume control, select, and start. So I suppose we should turn this sucker on, huh? Things stupidly not covered. Camera. Battery cover and battery. 1200 milliamps. That's it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to show you is how clear the screen is. It's got a really nice screen on it. The layout is fairly similar to a lot of the PSP and Vita clones. However, navigation's a little bit faster, and I'm going to show you this. And we'll go through this in a minute in depth. But as you can see, the emulation is split up into the different types of systems that it plays. And just for fun, we'll just look at Metal Slug. As you can hear, the volume can get pretty darn loud if you want it to. It's not as loud as many others though. So many of the handhelds are quite a bit louder than this, but it's not as distorted as some of them, so that's okay. Yep, you gotta put coins in. Start. And as you can see, it runs it really well. Now, I much prefer using the analog stick on this thing to the D-pad, but the D-pad's not that bad. If you're used to split D-pads, you'll be alright with it. It does actually feel like it'll hold together. Alright. Alright, so let's pause just a second. Oh, you hit select and start to pause it. I want to show you a couple features that aren't in other ones. We actually have game settings. You can set frame skip, volume, brightness, and whether full screen is on or not. So I can turn this back off. That is on other ones, but it's not as much of a postage stamp as it is on some. You can reset the buttons. Instant archive is the save function, so I can actually save the game while I'm playing. Restart and quit. So I'm going to go to continue. And there you see, I'm playing in postage stamp mode. But the screen's big enough to actually support it. It's not really that bad, and if you absolutely have to play it in its original format, well, there you go. Video format anyway. And as you can see, it runs really nice. Alright, back to the main menu for a second. Oops. And back another layer. B is back. Alright, so games are in this section right here. If you look right here, you have a music player. I cannot show you these due to copyright issues. They are, of course, pirated. The sound is okay. I'll show you that in a minute, though. Here's a video I recorded with it of my cat. Meow. Hello. Hello. That's not great quality now, is it? No, it's not great quality. But I think you'll notice that it actually has a halfway decent frame rate. Get out. Don't want to get it for having a video on. Sorry about that. It does have a decent frame rate, even though it looks like it might be from the 90s. I'm pretty sure it's at least doing 29-30 frames per second recording, which is much better. Here's the actual camera mode. If I hit C, I can switch from camera to video mode. That's the C button. I know, I would have expected an X or a Y, but whatever. You can restore the defaults and take a picture and record video. There we go. Hit B to go back. A takes the pictures, by the way, or records. There's also an audio recorder here. You just hit A. It is not very complex. That's basically your options. Hit B to get out. There's a picture I took. Hey. There's a picture I took with it. Not bad. Not great quality, but it looks okay. I mean, you know, oh, that's not a picture I took with it. Sorry about that abrupt screen cut. Alright, next to the reader. This too is a step up for many of them. Notice how it has PDF, text, RTF, doc, and HTML, so you can put different types of files in here and expect to read them. It's nice that it at least spells out for you what it can do. There's a regular file browser on here. Open or delete. Look at that. Dead. Pretty cool. Alright, next. Language settings. Background settings. It's got a number built in, and of course you can add your own. Those look a lot like Windows. Windows backgrounds. Font color. This is nice because you can preview it against the background that you've set. How nice is that, huh? I mean, it doesn't have a bunch of pre-selected colors for you. You got to use sliders like some kind of savage, but it's there. And it actually shows some forethought. Sound settings. This is how you can change the little swap sound. This is the default one, by the way. That would get annoying quick. And that would get double annoying. I don't know how to feel about that one. Back to this. I really like this one. Backlight time. That's how long it will wait idle before the backlight goes out. See? Levels. There's 4 brightness settings. That will of course extend your battery life if you use a less bright one. Why would you do that? Restore default settings, and of course if you want to know how much memory you have left, you can click on System Info. Alright, let's plug this in, play a couple test games, and then try that SD card reader real quick. Okay, so here we are at the main menu. I do want to show you something real quick that I forgot to show you before. That is over here in the settings gear. There is the TV out mode. You can set it from PAL to NTSC. So don't forget that that setting's there. I've got an NTSC right now because I'm in the United States. You folks in Europe will want to do it as PAL. You probably know that, but whatever. All right, let's go back. Here are the games. You look across the top, there is a selection of games. Some of them are mismarked, some of them are not. You'll notice quite a selection. I'm not going to bother going into these too much. They're as marked. But let's go down here and look at what all this can run. CPS, that is the Capcom arcade system. NeoGeo. You don't know what that is? Oh, it is a treat. Gameboy Advance. I wish I could rediscover NeoGeo one more time just to live it once again. Alright, Game Boy Advance. Starfleet Command. Oh wait, no, that's Super Famicom. Sorry. Mega Drive. Famicom. Game Boy Color. Sega Master System. Game Gear. What the heck? Game Boy. Alright, so let's take a look at CPS first. And as you can see, there's Super Puzzle Fighter 2. Super Gem Fighter. These are great games, by the way. Some of the best. Alright, we're going to do Gigawing, I think, real quick. Okay, sorry about that short break there. Here we have Gigawing, which is an arcade game. This is pretty cool. I mean, honestly, it's not like I haven't played arcade games on a handheld before, but I sure as heck have not played it on a PSP ripoff. Okay, so I'm basically hitting select to add quarters, and boom. The game starts. Note that all the settings that I showed you earlier, like stretch and all that other stuff, that all works within these interfaces, so you can use those same features. And there we go. We got some Gigawing. And it runs pretty smooth. It's not bad. Now remember, if you do not like this video format, you can definitely switch it over to the small one. In fact, as I recall, this defaulted to the smaller format, so I probably should be playing it in that, because this one actually is kind of a thin and long game. So it's stretching it out quite a bit. But still, it plays really nice. No problems at all. Alright, so let's take a second to look at NeoGeo again. We've already looked at it, but I do want you to look at how this stuff doesn't really repeat. These are all individual games. I really wish everything was like this. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous that we get so many repeats on these generally, but not here. We are playing different games every time, and they do appear to be properly marked for the most part, if not all of them. Put a couple coins in here. One of the best versions, well, not even one of, it is the best version of Mr. Do. I like it even better than the original arcade one. This remake is fabulous. I never saw this in the arcade, so I don't know if it never came to the US or what, but impressive game. There we go. Go get them. I suppose I should get to work on actually completing some of the goals of the game. Come on. There you go. Alright, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but they're getting angry. Round clear, there we go. And back to the main menu. But it runs it really well. No problems there at all. It's probably frame skipping just a little bit to keep up, but this is the first one of these I've been able to play NeoGeo at all on, and, you know, it mostly plays really well. I find it doesn't play quite as well when I'm playing on the screen here as it does playing on the built-in screen. So you might want to note that, but it's really not that bad. It's pretty halfway decent. That's a very conditional statement there. Game Boy Advance wouldn't be worth anything if it couldn't play it. Well, that's not true. I could get away with just the NeoGeo, honestly. Yeah, let's just look. Pac Man Collection, which is a fine version of Pac Man as well. And just play it real quick. Pac Man arrangement. And note how smoothly it plays. I mean, it just plays fine. Having no problems with the controls, although I gotta tell ya, I do by far prefer using the analog one. By far. Ah, crap. But there we go. I mean, really, you know, looks nice and plays nice. Not bad. Not bad at all. A little bit of stretch, but you can switch it to poster stamp if you want to. Okay, so it's time for Super Famicom. Or the SNES, if you care to call it that. This gives a lot of fits to the PSP and Vita clones out there. I'm not going to play Zool because people complain about it. Why do you like that game so much? I don't know. I have no class. What can I say? Metal Warriors, let's see. Adam's Family. Ah, Bomberman. Let's play Bomberman. I like that it warns you. Hit, select, and start. And we'll just do a quick normal game. One player. My wife and I used to play the crap out of this game. It was one of our favorite games. She'll only play Call of Duty now, though. You can't get her to play this at all. Got another egg. So there's a little bit of flame skipping. There's a little bit of frame skipping going on. However, it's fully playable. It really seems pretty decent. I'm not complaining. I think a purist would probably have problems with this, but definitely it has far less problems than some of the other handhelds I've done. I'm fairly impressed. It's really not that bad. It's definitely not like GPD class device, but it's pretty nice. All right, let's go on. And back. And on to the MegaDrive or Sega Genesis. And if I don't play Golden Axe, I'm just going to feel bad. Yeah. Let's skip the intro. And here we go. Let's kick some butt. I do it every time. I just did a Genesis video where I did exactly that. Constantly hitting the wrong button on this. Okay, this definitely needs a button remap. Fortunately, there is a button remapper in this. Again, you hit start and select at the same time to get there. That said, it feels great. Yeah. This is pretty nice. Die. I definitely don't like the mapping location. I would have gone for what, CBA, and this went with I think CAB, which is pretty crap. But notice how it is in the stretched format. It's by default it went into this format. Oh, there we go. I'm going after him. Nice. Hey. Go, go, go. It's such a classic old beat 'em up. Let's see. Say something that will offend somebody. I think the third was the best of these. I think the third Golden Axe was really the best. Yeah, liked it a lot. Hey, he ran away! Sweet. Back to it. Okay, time for a little bit of Famicom. There is 145 games here, non-repeating. So each game, I mean, there's, occasional goofy thing like Super Mario 14, but if you look, for the most part, it's legit. So that is just pretty crazy. I mean, here, let's play something creepy. The kids. I was going to do a Let's Play on this. My son and I both agreed that this is one of the creepiest games of all time. Sorry if you can hear the pump running in the background. Okay, let's go one player, because I only have one controller. Alright. Ronald was showing off his magic bag at a picnic in the meadow when all of a sudden, up shows a kid. By the way, kids, if you are a kid and watching this, if a full-grown clown comes up to you, the best thing to do is just run away. Do not engage with a clown, and do not help him find his magic sack. Please. It's not going to turn out well. All right. I actually have this. Of all the things I have like the most limited actual physical NES collection ever. I mean, I have a lot of like clone carts and stuff like that. But of all the games to have an original of, yeah, I have this game and a few others. I really just don't collect NES all that much. I got a bit of, I mean, you know, if you count Famicom, I've got a bit of Famicom cartridges, but not the American stuff. Oh no! High five. Alright. So obviously it runs NES. Let's get out of there. Back up. Get back in there. Okay, so we got Game Boy Color. And let's go with... Alright, we'll try and do something a little bit different here. Oh, this Yar's Revenge version. Why not? I think I have played this before on this channel. Pretty sure. It's weird seeing the Telegames logo too. Which, you know, just has so many different meanings depending on, you know, what time period you're from and what country you're from. Telegames was the Sears brand here, but in Europe they were also making video game systems. They were actually a separate company that was making video game systems. They made a clone of the ColecoVision that sold in the US. In fact, I've got one laying around. Oh, I'm doing terrible. Terrible. All right, here we go. Ready? Wait for it. Oh, I forgot I can get you that way. I should look up the ratings on this. I wonder how this did. That is terrible. I'll tell you how I did. Awful. Back to the main menu. I'm going to play more of that later, though. Actually, looks kind of interesting. Okay, as far as Game Boy Color games goes, let's go back to the beginning of the menu. Looks like there's about 30 of them, which is about all anyone can stand. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, there's a lot of pretty good Game Boy Color games. So here we go. Sega Master System, one of the most underrated game systems in my personal opinion. We'll look at Forgotten Worlds here. Was truly an excellent game system that was largely overlooked. I actually had one when I was a teenager. One of the many game systems that I owned and got rid of over time. But, oh, this is not going well. There we go. But this is a great one. I wish I never would have got rid of the original one that I had because it was pretty clean. So even when I was but a teenager, I was all for the losing team. Game over. Another game played poorly. But if you're looking for gameplay tips, you're probably on the wrong station. Alex Kidd, Shinobi World. Bart versus the Space Mutants. I didn't know that came out for it. Alright, let's back up. Game Gear. Not much here, just like 6. Let's go with this. Another system I have recently added to my collection. Oh, that looks nice. No idea what I'm doing here. None. None at all. Oh, is it like Pengo? Is it a Pengo? Oh, I'm gonna get this game on the actual system. Oh, this is great. Yeah. Now we're talking. This is my kind of thing right here. Very nice. I just picked up Pengo for the Atari 5200. I like the game so much, so it's nice to see a clone for this. What was the name of this? Let's get out of there. It was Ninku Gaiden. Really? That was it. Sweet. Okay. On we go. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to pick that up. And now, to the original Game Boy. There's 41 games from the original Game Boy, which is, of course, an all-time classic system. We've got Super James Pond, which, as I recall, was not the game I hoped it would be. Oh no, this is it. In shrunken form. The Amiga Classic. Stripped of all of its color. There's a version of this for the Amiga, the Sega Genesis, and the Super Nintendo system. I'm pretty sure the Super Nintendo system version is probably the best of them. I like the Amiga one as well, but on the SNES you get the advantage of separate buttons, which is a big deal. Not pressing up to jump, which I absolutely hate. So. That's just life. Actually, a pretty competent version of the game. No, not bad at all. I don't know if playing it on your TV seems like a really good idea, but I'm sure on a handheld it's okay. Now, let's back out of that. And back out. Alright, so there's one more thing I want to show you before we wrap this up. I want to go into the file browser. This is how you get to other games. Note, you see this previous directory, you got to go up one and over here to go to the SD card. Now, there's something I want you to note. We're not going to show a whole lot of games on here, but I'm going to show you something in this NES section because I have examples of it. While on the local file store, it definitely can open up zipped files. Watch this. Does not work. But if I unzip Bobble here, it'll play off the SD. So it looks like, and I've tested it pretty well, it looks like you can only put unzipped ROMs on the SD card. So that is something very important to note. Otherwise, you're going to be very disappointed. And it's especially weird because it definitely can open zip files if it's on its internal storage. So no idea why that is, but note it. You're definitely going to have a problem if you don't unzip them. But they work fine if you zip them or unzip them. No problem. Here we have Bobble. In my opinion, one of the top probably 10 games of all time. Not necessarily this particular version of it, but this isn't a bad one. There's no bad Bobble, only bad Bobble players. Like when you don't pop all of them at one time. Which you should do. That I will give you a tip on, because I finished this game. Which doesn't make me particularly good, just makes me particularly persistent. Ugh, I messed it up again. Alright. Well, that is it for the gameplay portion. Let's wrap this up and get a verdict on this. So, what is the verdict on the unfortunately named PAP K3 Plus? Well, I'm going to tell you, construction quality is really quite high. I know, it looks like every other PSP clone, but it doesn't feel like it. The plastics are of a slightly higher quality. No, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Has decent heft. It's not like super heavy or anything. It won't be mistaken for like a Vita, but it does feel substantial. The buttons all work well. The D-pad, though it's a little bit more spread out than I prefer them, it does perform really well. The analog stick is almost downright great. Although I absolutely hate these types of sliders, this is a fine example of it. As good as a PSP one as far as gameplay goes. Sound-wise, the volume isn't as loud as other PSP clones, but it sounds a bit better. Probably because it doesn't go up that high. I mean, you're not going to expect any decent bass out of it, but it's really not that bad and it's not distorted. But the best part of this thing is that it actually plays games well. They look good on here, and they play almost at full speed with the exception of some SNES games. They just play well, and it's fun to actually use, which is much better than many of the other ones that I've reviewed, which are just fun to see in what way they fail. So, for about $40, this sucker gets a big old thumbs up. It is the best of class. But remember, you're playing in the kiddie pool. So, keep that in mind when you're buying it. But, pretty nice device. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do me a big favor, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.
Retro Rocks Gaming Videos.